Scruggs style basic arrangement for I'll Fly Away. If you have learned the melody, you're going to be well set up for this one. If you have learned the melody and tried out a few licks, you're going to be pretty much ready to go, right? All we're doing here is adding in some pinches, some fill-ins, and a little bit of some rolls here, and just combining that with the basic melody. And you can even see in the tablature that we still have kind of the lyrics included under those key melody notes. So this really helps give you a clear picture of where we're adding in extra things, all right, to get that more full banjo sound. Use the tempo slider to try to play this at a speed you can handle, and if you need to at first, just play a measure at a time by yourself, not trying to play along with anything. Sometimes that's what we need to do. But if at any point it feels too intimidating, use that green difficulty slider to dial out some of the notes and make this thing a bit easier. You can also click on that tutor button to kind of get some help from the TuneFox tutor. After you play through the song one time, it'll ask you a few questions, and based on your answers, it'll adjust the tempo and the difficulty for you to kind of help match where your current level is, or where you feel like your level is. And the more you do it, the more it will refine, and the more it'll help kind of just cater your practice session to your personal needs and your current level of where you're playing at. As always, I'm going to recommend that you listen a few times before you play, each time, ideally, right? And also count while playing if you can. It can be pretty tough. I'm going to give you an example of how that sounds. I would recommend you trying to learn and just copy after me. And once again, even if you're not counting, repetitive listening, so important, so helpful, so beneficial. And if you're up for kind of another challenge, trying to sing those words while you're playing through this song and adding in those extra notes is a really good thing for you as well. All right, I'm going to play through it to give you an example of what this thing should sound like. Here we go. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E, 2E and a 3E and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1E and 2 and 3, 4, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, as you can see, the big difference here is that thing that we're playing right near the end, right before the D chord comes. We're adding a little bit of that Foggy Mountain breakdown roll, right? So if you need to, use the difficulty slider there. Also the focus feature to just focus on that one repeatedly, right? We want to practice the hard stuff. If something's easy for you, that's probably not where we need to focus our practice time. It needs to be on the stuff that's hard, and we need to practice the hard stuff until it's easy. And that usually will take just a lot of repetition and some time, right? You're not going to get everything in a day. As you can see throughout, I'm kind of making these little preparations with my pick hand, or getting like, before the C chord came up, I kind of got that C chord in shape, fingers curled, right where they needed to be before they needed to be there. And that just helps me play efficiently, and it minimizes the risk of mistakes. So preparation is always key, whether it's your fretting hand or your picking hand. We want to be kind of moving and grooving as we're playing. All right, if you check out the licks, there are some challenges there, and there are some things that are not too hard but are really cool add-ins. So there's a lot more things that have that quintessential bluegrass banjo sound. For example, if you check out measure 1, we're adding in this lick, sometimes called the Cripple Creek lick, because if you learn that song or have listened to that song, it's used a lot in that one, right? And this one is great. Anytime we have a melody note that's on a B string, like the way this song starts out, right? Anytime we got a melody note there, that lick works perfect, right? It's a great substitute for just plugging that in over top a melody note that happens to be on the open B string whenever we're in G tuning and playing in the key of G. Right, and the rest of the lick is just alternating thumb roll, where our thumb, whenever it's hitting the G or D string, is hitting that main melody note. Right? Again, when learning these licks, use the focus feature to listen repeatedly before playing and practice repeatedly. You want to play until they're easy, right, before you try to put them in context of the actual song. All right, dive in and check out a few more of those licks. Focus on very steady timing and playing at a speed where you can not only play with steady even beat with your rolls, but also be in control of your dynamics, right? If you're always playing really loud when you play and that's the only volume you can play, you got some work to do. We need to be able to kind of play at different speeds and at different volumes at will, right? If we can only play loud, we're going to be not the people aren't going to be very happy to see us at the jam if all we can play is loud. Okay, so practice on controlling those dynamics as well. All right, that's it for I'll Fly Away, the Scruggs style basic arrangement. You guys dive in and have fun.